Good Sunday afternoon, YouTube modeling community. Pappy here at West Georgia Rods and Customs. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. I've been in here at the bench most of the day trying to work through some fitment issues and with this 70.5 Pro Street build that I've been doing. Many of you have been following this build. This is one of my old glue bombs that I had probably, golly, this thing's probably 15 years old. I got back into the hobby, built it, just as a regular box stock, and I came across some Pro Street kits that I liked, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kit bash this, and I sat around the shop for a long time. It wasn't the best paint job, wasn't the worst paint job, but it got knocked off a couple of times, and I just, finally I just bagged it, tagged it, and put it in the stash. Well, with time, as far as moving forward. Now that I've gotten a lot more builds, got access to a lot more parts, things like that. I recently, if many of you remember the Pro Street truck, as far as the Chevy pickup I just did not too long ago, that was a glue bomb I picked up from someone that gave me a bunch of their old builds. And I had so much fun with it, I thought, you know what, hey, I got an old glue bomb. So I pulled out the old 70.5 Pro Street build that got busted up a lot. Well, one of the things that I did when I first started, I was just pretty much, just a hacker. Man, I'd hack this, hack that. I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into the build itself, years ago. Well, now that I've got I've got a massive array of tires, wheels, tools, kits, and all that. Thought, well, I'm going to pull this one out and see what I can do, and if I can do anything, make it a little bit better than what it was. So this is where we're at right here. I've already got everything as far as been trying to get a lot of the fitment issues. I'm using look in there, you can see the interior panels, door panels. I'm using from the 70.5 Camaro. I've got it back halved. One of the things as far as the question that popped up the other day was, Pappy, I know you're putting that big 572 in there. How do you cut the opening for your hood once you get, if it didn't come with it? Which sure enough, this old hood right here did not have a hole in it. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to show you how I cut a hole in the hood for these blowers. Once everything is mocked up, I've got the entire frame the way I want it, the way it's sitting in here, as far as I've finished all the fitment issues. I've got the interior door panels in, I got the package tray in, I got the subframe up under it, and I've got everything. If you can see the Tamiya tape, I got it taped in place. Nothing's going to move. The positioning as far as right in here from where the firewall touches the inner fender wells, that's in there. I know that's where it's going to be at once everything is glued in on final assembly. I take one of the 572 engines that I just recently started casting, and I mock it up with Elmer's glue. Get everything good and dry. I set it down into the engine bay. Got it mounting, setting on the engine mounts. I got the transmission setting on the engine on the transmission mount. I've got it positioned to where it's going to be at in final assembly. So once I get what I'm trying to do is, when I'm happy with that, I take some of the Tamiya. You can use thin strips, it don't matter, but I just use thin Tamiya tape. And I take the first place that I make really not take a measurement is I'm mocking up an imaginary cut line from the fender all the way over to this fender. And all that is giving me an index of where the opening is going to start at for the back of the blower. Then I take the blower belt, kind of mock it up, kind of figure out where it's going to need to be at, and it's going to be right about here. I just take another piece of tape, stretch it over to the other side of the fender well. I take my vernier calipers and take a couple of measurements for next. I'll measure from the front of that right there, as far as that point right there, which is a fixed point of the opening, and measure to right here, and make sure it's the same distance from that point to that point. And we got a straight line. Then you take your vernier calipers and go from here to here, and take the same measurement back to there, and everything is pretty much plumb. Now, if y'all remember earlier, I took and made a template of that hood right there. And this is this is it right here. I just took some cardstock and made just a duplicate as far as the shadow outline of that right there. And as you can tell, I've already got a hole cut in this. Now, where did I get that? Well, right there's where that came from. I love that opening as far as this is I think this is a Chevelle hood from I think the not Mean Street, the Heavy Chevy. This is the opening for it. It come with a blower, so I really like that opening. Now, what did I do then? I took, and I just made me a little, just made me a little, just a little cheater of what that looks like. And the next thing that I like to do is, I like to if you can see the index line right there, I just take I divide that hood from right there to right there. Draw you a line, and then I'll take, as you can tell, the lines that take the vernier calipers and just measure your line that way, and really all that is just it's the lines for the that I've established on the side of the fenders. Now, once I've got that in place, as you can tell, I already cut the opening, took the X-Acto blade and cut that opening. Now I can I'm gonna have to try to do this without looking. But now I got an opening for the blower, and there she is. What will I do? Now? I take that, everything fits nicely. Take the hood that I've got, put me some Tamiya tape across the top of it, set that over the top of that, mark it off with a pencil. I'm ready to start cutting the hood. And as you can tell, there we go. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I won't ruin this hood. But once I'll take either, you can do it with an X-Acto knife. You can do it. I may do it with a Dremel. I usually just take the raw opening, cut back a little bit, and then trim it out with the X-Acto, not the X-Acto, but the Dremel tool. Once I get it pretty close to that, I'll take the sanding sticks and start filing. Get it close to that opening right there, as far as where the mark is at. Then once I get it pretty close with that, I'll fine tune it with the files as far as that, and I'll I'll take a half file and do the edge right here to where that's a little bit more get a little bit more roundness to it, and then I'll have an opening for that. Take the hood, set it back over that, and then fine tune it from there. But easiest way I've found to do it. It's a little labor intensive, but hey, old carpenter told me one time, measure twice, cut once. he didn't do me wrong. So, but anyhow, appreciate everybody asking me, trusting me with giving them tips, techniques of what works best for me, and I'm gonna try to do a little bit more. I showed yesterday how I got as far as the front end lower on the front of this as well. Very easy to do those as well as the back end. But anyhow, folks, remember, if you can dream it, God bless y'all. Pappy out of here.